Bodybuilding and the fitness industry has been known for its use of steroids. Using performance-enhancing drugs, or PEDs, became popular a long time ago, but more recently we saw the rise of other compounds.
What if a scientist came up with something better than anabolic steroids?
Compounds that apparently work as good as normal steroids without the side effects. This seemed like the magic pill we all waited for. This magic pill was called SARMs.
You feel like Superman. You're stronger than last time. Every time you go to the gym, you seem to lift more weight, and you're putting on muscle faster than you ever dreamed possible. But
through its smart advertisement and easy access, it became widely popular in the fitness industry. SARMs seemed like the answer to make easy gains, and it looked like they didn't have any of the side effects. But unfortunately, that was proven to be wrong.
SARMs are not liver safe, they're not lipid safe, they're certainly not HPTA safe, they're gonna suppress you just like steroids do.
Blood pressure goes up, premature rupture of tendons, palpitations.
Although SARMs have this positive image built around them, they hide a dark side many people don't know about, and that potentially endangers their life without them knowing it. SARMs were first synthesized in the 1990s as a potential treatment for age-related muscle loss and osteoporosis. The first SARM to be developed was called S1, which was discovered by a Japanese pharmaceutical company called Kaken Pharmaceuticals in 1998. Since then, many other SARMs have been developed and studied for their potential benefits for medical conditions, including muscle wasting, osteoporosis, and hypogonadism. Some SARMs have also been studied for their use as an alternative for steroids. The main difference between SARMs and steroids is in how they affect the body. Steroids, also known as anabolic androgenic steroids, are synthetic versions of testosterone. Steroids work by binding to androgen receptors through the body, including in muscle tissue, and stimulating protein synthesis and muscle growth. However, steroids can also affect other tissues in the body, including the liver, kidneys, and cardiovascular system, and can have a range of potential side effects such as acne, hair loss, mood swings, and reduced fertility. In contrast, SARMs are designed to selectively target androgen receptors in muscle and bone tissue, while minimizing unwanted effects in other areas of the body. SARMs are thought to have fewer potential side effects than steroids.
In fact, word on the street is that SARMs are safe, have virtually no side effects, and most importantly, they'll get you those gains.
For this, SARMs seemed like a perfect alternative for steroids. Get the same results without the side effects. It started to become the first choice of people, and so SARMs started to become more and more popular, but this rise couldn't have happened without the great marketing these companies selling them had done. Companies had to find a way to market SARMs in a proper way, because they were technically not legal to sell. So internet marketers looked for ways and found that if you put a small disclaimer saying not sold for human consumption, they could be sold legally. This is the exact same thing as putting a one-phrase warning in the 45-page long user manual. No one sees it because nobody reads 45 pages of instructions. By just putting not sold for human consumption, they could sell it completely legally and they wouldn't suffer any consequences. But more experienced bodybuilders found this new so-called legal magic pill sketchy, so marketers understood this couldn't be their target audience. These advanced lifters would first of all not take them or buy them, but also try the younger people of their potential hidden side effects.
But like, you might be paying a price further down the road that you haven't really accepted it.
But the problem with SARMs is there are negative consequences of taking them.
And taking research chemicals which can mess around with your hormonal system is just not a good idea.
To avoid young people catching on this reality, these marketers used a sneaky but very smart tactic. They started to write blogs and articles pretending to be scientific reviews, but all they really tried to do was populate the first page of Google. So teenagers who then thought they were smart because they had done their research actually fell right into the trap internet marketers laid out for them.
If you try to do research on SARMs, here's how these internet marketers are, and they're smart. It's sleazy, but it's smart. They'll write blogs and articles pretending to be scientific reviews of the SARMs, but in reality what they're doing is they're trying to populate the front page, the first page of Google.
Yeah, when you
so
search
when you go
it.
first page of Google, SARM reviews, it's all written by these SARM, guys who are selling it,
right.
And they're pretending to be so like, oh well, it says here there's no risks at all, and they're very safe, and the studies say that they're really good, and wow, look, this company's got like certifications showing that it's pure or whatever.
They read articles about the 5 safest SARMs on the market or the best SARMs for cutting and bulking, while not knowing that the ones who wrote the articles were the companies who sold them.
It's hitting the 17 to 25-year-old market like crazy.
I would fall for this.
Yeah, 100% I would
totally.
too, because they've done such a good job stigmatizing steroids, and it's got such a bad name for itself, and it's a needle, and it's
well, no, I'm natural.
Right.
I'm taking SARMs.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know,
and this is over the counter.
You get to claim you're natural. This
you don't have to go to the black market.
You don't got to inject a needle into yourself.
Right.
There's,
it's oral.
Right. And so you, as a teenage boy who was curious about these things, I would probably feel like this is me dipping my toe in the water without going.
Marketers understood that they had to target the younger generation of teens to try to make these products attractive to them, and for that they had to use a couple tactics, mainly creating an attractive branding around those SARMs, make it easy to buy, and create social proof and credibility behind them. They first of all made it completely legal to sell by adding this quick disclaimer saying not sold for human consumption, which removed an extreme amount of friction. The only way you could access PEDs or performance enhancing drugs before was by buying it illegally from someone in your gym or from an old creepy guy in the streets, and it felt like buying recreational drugs, which would have stopped most of the younger generation from buying them. So they knew they had to find a way to make it completely legal to sell, and that's what they did. To make it even more attractive to the younger generation, they sold it in a pill form instead of having to inject something. Injecting something feels illegal, feels scary, and feels too much like steroids, while just taking a pill is simple, easy, and quick. To top it off, they wrote all these fake scientific studies and articles to try to hide the fact that there are many side effects for people. The whole point was to make them look the least possible like actual steroids. By making them legal, easy to consume, and prove to have no side effects unlike steroids is what made their branding so attractive. By first making sure the product was attractive, they had to then make it easy to buy. If you type the name of any SARM with buy after on Google, you will see the first link sending you to a site selling it just like that. You can buy SARMs online in the same way you can buy a gift card on Amazon. This ease of access is ridiculous and makes it so much easier for teenagers to fall into a vicious cycle. The last thing these marketers had to optimize was the social proof behind them. Humans are social animals that care about the opinions of others, and this social proof of something that works has tremendous impact on people. SARMs marketers focused on advertising to teens, and teens are known to switch from caring what their parents tell them to what their friends and what people their age tells them. SARMs became very popular on TikTok, which is the main app for teenagers today, and many celebrities and other teens on the app are making these insane transformations with SARMs and are promoting them. What people online would always do before is try to hide the fact that they took something, but today it seems like people just openly talk about it and even promote it. This way they manage to create social proof for their products. Most people use PEDs for visual benefits, which makes these transformations very attractive to this younger generation. What such transformations do is also completely destroying young lifters' perception of what is possible naturally and how fast they can achieve a great physique. With all those factors combined, SARMs became a new viral trend that many teenagers use for making a big change in their physique, and so was born the new niche of the Sarm Goblins. With this great targeted advertising on teens, and with those TikTok stars that mostly teens watch making great transformations, we saw a rise of teenagers taking SARMs themselves, and trends on TikTok of people calling themselves Sarm Goblins. The term goblin is often used in online communities to refer to someone who is obsessed or excessively focused on a specific interest or activity. In the case of Sarm Goblins, the term is used to describe individuals who are perceived to be overly focused on their bodybuilding goals and are willing to take risks by using dangerous things like SARMs. All they care about is being this jacked bodybuilder because that's all they see online. Their perception of what is normal is completely screwed, so they start taking SARMs and also promote it to people. These young teenagers never considered the long-term side effects none of the studies talked about. As I mentioned before, SARM stands for selective androgen receptor modulators, which is why they look like a perfect alternative for steroids. The selective part, which people thought eliminated side effects, actually didn't do anything. SARMs are still a form of performance-enhancing drugs, and anything that works too well should be watched out for. Always keep a skeptic eye on the things that make too much difference. SARMs were thought to not have all these side effects in theory, except that reality is different. SARMs are not liver safe, they're not lipid safe, and the notion that SARMs are safer than steroids for the same results is bullshit.
SARMs are not liver safe, they're not lipid safe, they're certainly not HPTA safe, they're gonna suppress you just like steroids do.
They're not safer than steroids at all and can even sometimes have worse effects than them. And just like steroids, the more you take of them, the more side effects you will experience.
Furthermore, like steroids, the more SARMs you use, the more side effects you are bound to experience.
Your blood pressure goes up, ruptures of tendons can happen, your nuts can shrink, you can get acne, you can get gyno, you can get hair loss, which are all side effects we can find back with steroids.
Blood pressure goes up, premature rupture of tendons, palpitations.
It can shrink your nut sacks.
Acne, hair loss, testosterone suppression, and other side effects associated with steroid use are still very possible with SARMs.
Some people even reported to have a slight change in their view tint, which made it more yellow and reported to have a damaged view.
I just can't see. Like there's these white blobs in my eyes, and I'm literally like looking at my phone. Everything seems very distorted. There are white blobs. I can't really see much, and it took like I think 2 to 3 minutes for my eyes to like completely adjust and completely go to normal. I had to like step out of the condo, step out to the balcony. I just needed like light, just because everything was so dark. Like it was literally pitch dark in the condo. Had to step out and let my eyes adjust before I did anything else, and it was a super freaky experience.
SARMs are not safe for people, and spreading awareness of it is very important, because we don't know how many teenagers are aware of those side effects before taking them. Teenagers taking SARMs is a real epidemic that needs to be stopped right now.